Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, Christian Cage is your number one contender. Roman Reigns and John Cena have another great segment, if I do say so myself. Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano have a lover or leaver match. I know everybody's just dying to hear us talk about that. Bray Wyatt gets released. Adam Cole maybe getting released. Brock Lesnar maybe to AEW. That's and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Mark. So welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. I am your host, Bill Vagey, as always, a.k.a. Mickey Minaj, and sitting right across from me.
Wait. Say it again.
Gimmicky Minaj.
That's Comedy Central.
I don't know about all
No, that's
that.
good. That's good. I'm sorry. Props to Bo again.
Sitting right across from me, we have Jason Cornelius Bell. What's going on, JCB?
Allow us to bow our heads as I read from the latest edition of the Banned from Ringside podcast, volume 217, chapter 3, verse 14. And the good smart saith, hashtag boo the heels. It is all good, baby. Listen, share, subscribe, repeat, the holy trinity of BFR. Man, I'm telling you what. If it ain't one thing, it's a motherfucking other when it comes to wrestling. Just when I think, okay, things are going to calm down a little bit, Bray Wyatt gets released. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then, calm down a little bit. Adam Cole might be released from his contract. I'm like, dude, god damn, man. I mean, if you can't be inside the ring, it is literally outside the ring. Every time you look up, there has been no break for the last 2 weeks, and we are just hanging on to the wrestling train for dear life trying to keep up.
Crazy times. And out there in Oregon on the left coast, we have a two-beer, Zach Pullman. What's going on, two-beer?
West Side!
Oh, man, we're recording late on a Wednesday, so it's more like 6 beers, Zach, right now.
Nice.
Waiting for you guys, so, yeah.
I want to thank you both, to Zach and Jason. I want to thank you both for accommodating me. We're doing this late at night on Wednesday night. Listen, it's the baby can come at any time, and that's part of the reason why we're doing this late. I have the week off. I had vacation time. I had to burn, which is pretty nice. It's a pretty nice problem to have right before paternity.
No shit.
But I also have tickets to the Black Pumas tomorrow night, so I'm going to go see them also. So I do appreciate you guys accommodating
Another big-time move by one of the BFR guys not named JCB.
I don't think that this I know Jason just got off work, and I know that this is, it's only 8:20 for Zach, so I don't know if this is better or worse for either of you, but I appreciate it.
No, man. I mean, shit. I would be coming in, the cats are fed. AEW would be going on right now, so it's not like I'm going to sleep. So, yeah, I mean, this works for me. I can't speak for Mr. Westside over there, but this works for me.
Nah, it's pretty good for me. Like you said, it's only 8:20, so incidentally, it's 2021. Can you say Black Pumas?
Yeah, I mean, they're black guys in the band, so I think you can say Black Pumas.
Yeah, I think I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't want you to get into a Max Caster situation here.
Oh, man.
That dude.
Let's talk about Matt Caster in a little bit.
I hope none of those people listen to the podcast because we'd be canceled 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I have thoughts about Max Caster, which we can get to later. But we are coming at you from South St. Louis, South City. I love this place. I don't live here anymore, but I get to visit every once in a while. I still bartend downtown. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about before we get too far into it. This is probably going to be my last podcast for a while. Yeah. The baby is imminent. The baby was breech. The baby is no longer breech. I'm sure Zach knows what that means. Jason might not have any idea.
Of course not, dude.
Because he does not. Yeah, because he doesn't.
I have sex, but I don't have kids.
He doesn't follow up after he doesn't pull out. So But the baby is no longer breaching. We're at 37 and a half weeks, and it's basically, we're old for having a baby. So might be my last one for a while, so let's make it count.
No shit.
If you want this baby to go to college, hit me up at BFR Bill on Twitter, and we will. I'll sell you some beard balm. I'll sell you some beard oils. I'll sell you some beard shampoo, shower bombs, bath bombs. Bill's Beard Company. Hit me up at BFR Bill. And without further ado, let's get to that. 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
JCV, what's the 1 count?
Just for the record, like I said in previous weeks, this kid's going to college. Okay, one way or the other. Dragging, kicking, screaming,
Ranking.
money heist, whatever we got to do. This kid's going to college. Now, all that being said, let's get to the world of wrestling outside of the ring. Once again, starting the 1 count, where we had another surprise release due to quote-unquote budget cuts. Bray Wyatt released on, I believe it was Saturday afternoon, in another surprise WWE move. They said it was budget cuts. You can fill in the blank for what you think it is. I was genuinely surprised. I mean, this was, to me, the biggest surprise so far in this last rounds of cuts was Braun Strowman. This, to me, was a bigger surprise than Braun just because of how they have invested, and I've said this before, they've invested time in this angle into Bray Wyatt and now to Alexa Bliss, WrestleMania, so on and so forth. For this to come to such an abrupt halt, for me, was kind of a surprise. A huge surprise? No, because we've seen this before. See Aleister Black, he came in with this new gimmick or whatever, and then, later that week they end up releasing him. So, I mean, it's not that big a surprise. I guess my biggest beef with this is how they're doing this, how we're going about it. If you're saying it's budget cuts, I'm calling that as bullshit, because you're making way too much fucking cash to all of a sudden be talking about we're worried about a quote-unquote budget. If he's making too much money, then just say that. He's making too much money, and then we're cutting him for that. But it's not a budget cut. It's either the fact he's making too much money and you're not getting anything out of it, which I would kind of call bullshit on that, because his merch sales are good. So this leads to me to believe this is more on the creative side. Maybe they don't have anything for him. I don't think you could have paid off the Alexa Bliss angle from taking his powers anyway. Either you would have to do that in a match, which they're really reluctant to do, or you would have to do this in a more creative way, which Bray Wyatt would have to take advantage of. At the end of the day, I'm a little disappointed on how the Bray Wyatt saga ended. If we're going to go out like that, then this should have been done weeks before. Not even going to WrestleMania at this point, because WrestleMania, to me, that is one of the biggest takeaways, a negative takeaway from WrestleMania, how that started night 2, and it was such a downer that I couldn't really get away from that until the very end when Roman Reigns did the damn near impossible. So at the end of the day, and I'll pass the mic, but like I said, I'm a little disappointed in how WWE is handling these releases. They're not budget cuts, okay? Don't say budget cuts. Say something that's more realistic. Say the fact that he's making too much money and there's just nothing for him. Or you ain't even got to say anything at all. Just, future endeavor his ass and move the fuck on. The bottom line is Bray Wyatt got the raw deal from WWE time after time after time again, and you wonder why these guys go off to Jericho's podcast or Filling the Blanks podcast and just rip WWE a new asshole.
I would love to hear Zach's thoughts on this.
Yeah, my initial reaction was that Bray was just done, right? He had taken some time off for health reasons and mental health reasons. He really was suffering from, Brody's passing because they were super close. And that was my knee-jerk reaction. I was like, all right, he's done performing. I can accept that and understand it, and totally empathize. And then you hear the budget cuts thing, and all of this, taken holistically, outside of looking at each individual person, because you can kind of tear each one apart, because Bray Wyatt was a merchandise mover. He was a multi-time WWE champion. He has been in the WrestleMania picture, like main eventing numerous times with big matches. So they obviously were very much behind him at a variety of points. The whole budget thing, because they're making the most money they've ever made, and just looking at the decisions holistically and the lack of care that's put into creative and just like the lackadaisical way they seem to run the company, I really think Vince McMahon is like going to sell this company. I think he's done. I think he's not going to pass the torch, or maybe he'll sell and then pass the torch whenever. But I think he's looking to just find somebody that's going to give him $5-6 billion for this thing, and he's trying to make it the most profitable that he possibly can in the meantime. That's just my own thing. Like, it's not like dirt cheap stuff or anything. It's just, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, why you would just care so little about how logical or quality your television program is when your television program is what pays the bills, and you have competition on the other side. Just weird to me. But I mean, all that aside, if Bray wants to work, Dark Order needs a leader. That'd be cool.
No, they're not going to do that. They said that -1 was going to be the leader, and Brody would never have. Don't get me wrong; it makes perfect fucking sense. But I don't think they're going to go against their word in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that they're not going to go against the word. I mean, -1 isn't fucking 8-year-old.
I get that. I just think that this is one of those scenarios where this is AEW's goodwill, and you don't want to fuck up your goodwill.
Well, I'm sure -1 knows Bray personally. So,
no, yeah, I'm sure in some form or fashion, but you know,
I can't believe they're calling this kid -1. It's Brody's kid. It's just like he's not even a character. I don't even know why. The kid's got to go to the fucking 5th grade next week.
What's your kid's name going to be? Not the real name, but the gimmick.
Well, name's going to be 68+1. Sex machine.
No, man, I was about to say that's already been taken, dude. By one of the coolest motherfuckers I've ever met, and
Jason and I used to play softball. I've probably told this story. I won't. We used to play softball against this guy. He played third base. His number was 68+1, and his back of his jersey said "sex machine." It was unbelievable.
Dude was one of the coolest motherfuckers.
That's why I'm naming my kid, girl or boy. So the other day I saw something that was like, because my wife had gotten some sort of promotional thing for BarkBox like a year ago, so she gets like emails about BarkBox. You know what BarkBox is?
No, that's why I'm looking at you sideways.
It's where they send you it's like gourmet dog food shit.
Okay.
It's like what you say?
I thought you were talking about Birchbox. There's too many boxes. My wife used to get Birchbox. It's like makeup and shit.
Let's not talk about our wife's boxes.
I was about to say, I will excuse myself if you guys want to do this for real.
But BarkBox is it's like really premium dog food. And there was like a BarkBox WWE thing, like co-promotional thing, which kind of shows me what kind of business Vince is running. And I say that to say that I had the exact same thought that Zach had. Vince is selling this motherfucker. Vince doesn't give a shit. He's going to sell it to peak. He always said he'd die in the chair, but that was before he was probably dying. And the motherfucker's 78 right now, or however old he is, and I'm not trying to get into Vince's head, but I'm going to try to get into Vince's head because it's a podcast. It's an audio medium, so I'm just going to keep talking here and see what comes out. But I thought the same thing. It's like, this is way more shocking than Braun Strowman. I mean, they have put so much effort, and they have given so much creative license to Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, personally, as a wrestler.
Firefly Funhouse.
I mean, he got burned alive. He's. I mean,
he had his own championship belt that was like designed by
what, $500? Jesus Christ!
More than that.
I mean, he came in and he was the leader of a cult, and he was, big time. He's a top of the card talent. And to me, he's still a top of the card talent that they just fucked up. Now, I'm not going to try to get into his head. Who knows how he's doing with Brody's death? Who knows how pissed off he is about a 6-minute loss to Randy Orton at WrestleMania after a huge build. And they were the curtain jerker on night 1, I think.
Yeah.
It's a shock. It's a shocking release. One of the most shocking releases that we've ever seen. I think, in my opinion.
No, I didn't.
It seems to me like Vince is selling the motherfucker.
Supposedly, Bray was supposed to come back. This is August. So, yeah, he was supposed to come back sometime in August, I'm guessing around SummerSlam, and to make his return, and I guess to start the Alexa Bliss angle back up again. I guess I'd rather them do it like this and shock the shit out of me weeks before SummerSlam versus going to SummerSlam, doing the angle, and then releasing him afterwards.
After they released him, though, they should have had Alexa Bliss just snap back to regular, not even have a storyline explanation for it. Just
give it a second. It's going to happen. Give it a second.
Let's just cut our losses and just be done with this fucking hocus pocus garbage that Alexa Bliss is a part of.
Well, I think that just that part shows. I think they're going to keep her like this because it just shows that they think that the talent is replaceable, and it's very much more the brand, and they can just take one person's idea and put it on another person to the same effect because they're just like totally interchangeable.
They're the only people that think that.
They are the only ones. Yeah.
I'll kind of piggyback on that. When The Rock left to go to Hollywood or whatever, Vince wasn't exactly worried about Rock being successful. He thought it would fall on his face. And obviously that didn't happen. Between Rock and Austin, basically, I won't say holding the WWE hostage, but you got two of the biggest stars in WWE history not necessarily available at Vince's whim. That's not how Vince wants to do shit, okay? Especially when you got talent that dictates terms to Vince. Rock can only be there at certain times nowadays. Austin's the same way. Vince does not want that. He wants to have somebody there when he wants it, wherever he wants it, and everything else be damned. So I guess this is kind of the bigger issue where, to me, I'm not saying that Bray is one of those guys where he was getting ready to jump off and go to Hollywood, but you're not going to get big stars anymore. Roman Reigns is the ceiling, okay? That's going to be as far as it goes. If Roman Reigns wants to go to Hollywood, God bless him. I don't think he's going to do as well as Rock or even John Cena, I guess, depending on what Fast 9 is doing. I don't think he's got that star potential. And everybody else is getting pushed down to where they don't have that potential to go away from WWE and jump off to Hollywood. This is a planned effort by Vince to make sure that guys are not going to just jump ship and leave him high and dry. Now, on the flip side of it, if you just can keep releasing guys, you might just be in that spot anyway. Because sooner or later, you're getting to the point where you're not going to have a deep roster.
I think that what we're seeing in the WWE, as well as the United States of America, is the end of an empire. I mean, we always thought that Vince would die in the chair, and everybody's always said for the last 7 or 8 years, it's like, well, I'm not going to count against the old man. I'm not going to bet against the old man. Oh, he's got some tricks up his sleeve. He ain't got no tricks up his sleeve no more, dude. He just brought back Goldberg, who almost killed The Undertaker. Zach.
The only thing he has up his sleeve is a fucking vegan hot dog because you can't skip lunch. But
God
for
damn.
real,
keep it doing every week. Every week, just do a I think you should leave joke just for me. Just for me.
It's just like a cheap pop, but he has no tricks up his sleeve. Yeah, and Jason's totally right. And the thing that does bring people to wrestling is not wrestling itself; it's stars. There is a minority of people that enjoy wrestling for wrestling's sake. We are those people. The thing that gravitates the general audience is stars. When people talk about wrestling from their childhood, they don't talk about work rate matches. They talk about the stars. And, I mean, unless we see Matt Riddle and Randy Orton in a remake of the classic Stuck on You from the Farrelly Brothers, we're not going to see those stars ever again. I know Bill would really like that.
Yes, I mean, I think that Stuck on You is just such an underrated gem. To Zach's point, tonight watching AEW, when they pan to the crowd and how many kids you see out there with Darby Allin face paint on, those kids are going to grow up to have a podcast 20 years from now, and Darby Allin's going to be their dude because they made him a star. And
he's a star to them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's a celebrity.
Definitely, for sure. They would probably cry and shit their pants if he came over and, handed them, some extra trucks for their skateboard or whatever. So, Zach, what do you think about Adam Cole, baby? The rumors are that his contract is ending in August.
After SummerSlam.
He
extended after Great American Bash, which is a little surprising, but nonetheless. Go ahead, Two Beer. What do you think?
I think this is kind of like the perfect storm, right? I mean, AEW existed because of a perfect storm of free agent talent and a big money backer who happens to be a huge wrestling fan, lifelong wrestling fan, and who's pretty fucking talented at what he does. Like, Tony Khan's like Booker of the Year every year so far, like taking out Gato, who's been Booker of the decade, right? Like, the dude's awesome. So I think this is like the perfect storm. Whenever I got back into watching wrestling when we started this podcast, I mean, Adam Cole was the Ring of Honor champion. Kenny Omega had won the G1. He was holding that briefcase. Young Bucks were the tag team champions. They might have been junior tag or whatever. But Bullet Club was fresh and strong and hip and cool. And Adam Cole, baby, is a company man. I don't mean company man in the sense that he's a WWE company, but he's the kind of guy that you can put the weight of a company on, and he will carry it. And I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about a sold out, like, I don't know, United Center or a sold out, big venue, and he comes out, and that all 15, 20, 25,000, however many people they can pack in that building, every single one of them will scream, Adam Cole, baby, at the top of their lungs. It'll be the greatest moment of his life. And the fact that his girlfriend's there and the fact that he's always hanging out down there because they're all in Florida and you see him on Instagram, he's at the dinners and stuff, like, it's just a no-brainer. I mean, a lot of these guys, you wonder, what are they going to do? And, I mean, I know Adam Cole idolized Shawn Michaels growing up. It's obvious. He's like a new version of Shawn Michaels. And, yeah, like, he had his run. Like, they're not going to do anything with him on the main roster. There is 100% nothing going to happen for Adam Cole on the WWE main roster. No hope, and it's not his fault at all, because, like I said, you can put the whole company on him. But
he's carried the promotion. He's carried NXT for years, though. I mean, he's been the star for years.
The guy.
Even more than Gargano. He's the guy.
I mean, I mentioned last week, you guys thought I was crazy when I said Gargano's title run wasn't as good because, his matches were great. But he didn't defend the title a whole bunch when he had it. It was his feud with Ciampa. But, like, Adam Cole was the dude. And that Undisputed Era was the group. And they had a time where they could have struck where the iron was hot and brought him up, and they could have been big stars, but it ain't happening anymore.
Man, he really he had to get that little dig in and make it sound like he was right and we were wrong. Like, we didn't say that. How dare he?
No. Okay, hang on.
I need to take a breath.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say. I know what this means. So this means I get to filibuster for 30 seconds. I think you conveniently forget about the Johnny Gargano reign. There was a certain guy named Andrade that he had a nice little monster match with. So, I mean, I get where you're kind of going with this, but let's not just jump on the Johnny Gargano had a bad title run train just yet. Okay.
I would never say that. I would never.
Okay. Lackluster? Can we go with lackluster?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had a nice little Kofi reign.
I liked Kofi's reign just for the record, and I liked Gargano's reign. I'll just say this for the argument, or at least for the subject of Adam Cole. For me, it's either you damned if you do or you damned if you don't. If he stays, and I would assume he would lose to Kyle O'Reilly in their tiebreaker match. That would obviously kind of lead him to go up to the main roster. So for sake of argument, let's say he goes to the main roster. If they're doing Karrion Kross like this, Adam Cole is not going to, at least for me, inspire much more confidence where I'm like, okay, they're going to remember this run that they did 2 years ago in 19 when Adam Cole was wrestling, Daniel Bryan and all these great matches, and they're going to build off of that. They didn't even build off of that with Keith Lee. So now you're going to ask me, and this is probably going to be my word of the podcast, goodwill. You're asking me to show WWE the goodwill to say, okay, Adam Cole, you're going to be able to go up to the main roster and have success. I kind of lean to the fact that, yeah, he might be going to AEW because all the factors seem to be out there. His girlfriend's there. They live in Florida. All these things kind of, connect the dots. They let his contract go. That does not make fucking sense to me. If you're anybody in NXT and this is your job, you need to be like, hey, Adam Cole's contract's up 6 months ago, okay?
Well, no, they fired that guy, and I think that's the reason. That talent relations dude, he got let go and then got rehired and then got let go again, like just a couple of weeks ago.
As well, sure he should.
You can connect the dots, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened was that dude let Adam Cole's contract run out because that's a big boon.
Here's the thing that we've seen over the last year. I won't even say the last 2 years. The last year. We've seen AEW be able, and this is not me as an AEW mark. I have been, I am an AEW mark now. Like, it's
not as bad as the other one.
It's full blown.
The superstar is the big AEW mark.
You mean the golfer?
Yeah.
The full blown, let me collect my thoughts here for a second. The thing that they've shown us over the last year is that AEW can bring all these guys in and somehow make all of them seem like a big deal. And that's not necessarily even the crowd, because the crowd has just come back. Like, they brought Miro in. Miro was in that thing with Kip Sabian, and it was like, oh, they should throw Miro in. It's like, no, but Miro was still front and center. He might not have been on every week, but he was still front and center in every feud he was in. They made him feel like a big deal. They still have guys like Darby Allin. I've come around to really like the Blade. I'm like, oh man, this guy's a good hand.
Very underrated.
Very underrated. He's got a cool look. I love how he wears the fucking butcher's apron.
Right.
With nothing on underneath it. That sounded gayer than I thought it would. But they really have proven that, and even now with Malachi Black, with what happened tonight, we'll get to that later, but they've proven that they can make guys feel like big deals, and maybe all my shit against all of their factions, maybe that was a little misguided. Maybe I was wrong about that.
What? What's this?
Maybe I was wrong about that. I still feel the same way about the Dark Order, but
baby steps.
They really do make people feel like a big deal. Like,
if Adam Cole comes over, it would be a huge deal. It will be hopefully after Punk, Daniel Bryan,
and let's talk about maybe
the other guy.
There are rumors going around.
This is crazy, dude.
That Brock Lesnar is in talks. Now, I think we mentioned this last week.
We did.
Brock Lesnar could be using AEW to leverage a contract against WWE
or UFC.
The thing is that Vince always had bigger pockets than everybody else. Does Vince have bigger pockets than Tony Khan? I'm not sure he does.
It depends on who you ask, honestly. I think that if you ask me, I think it's pretty even Steven. Tony Khan might have a little deeper because we're dealing with NFL money, and NFL money ain't no joke. Now, all that being said, it's going to boil down to, does Vince need Brock Lesnar? From my opinion, it is an emphatic fuck yeah, he needs Brock Lesnar. So at this point,
for me,
he
it's
needs
an emphatic fuck no.
He's
got BarkBox, dude. He's got the Peacock deal. He doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't have to do anything.
Okay.
He just presses the easy button.
Okay. Now, if
like
you want to
CM Punk says, this company makes money in spite of itself.
Okay.
And he was exactly right 10 years ago.
All right. All I'm saying is you keep letting this talent go away, Brock included now. I'm talking about Punk, Daniel Bryan, Malachi Black, Adam Cole, baby, and Brock Lesnar. That's 5 guys I just counted on. He's gone, okay?
Miro.
Okay, now I'm just saying that if you keep NXT's tag team divisions going and left, if you keep taking guys away from the roster, sooner or later, this roster is not going to be good. If Alabama couldn't always get the cherry picking of the cream of the crop and they had to come back to the middle of the pack, they won't be as good. Wrong. Same thing.
No, you're wrong. The roster is always going to be good because there's enough talent out there. The talent out there is crazy.
No.
I tell you what, ever I showed up on AEW tonight, I was like, I know who those motherfuckers are. I was like, where have I seen those guys? And I thought the same thing.
It's like, God damn, they look familiar.
I was like, what's their name? 2.0. I was like, who are these guys? Like, that guy looks really familiar.
Oh, that's horrible.
It really is their name.
I feel like Nick Gage should hire those guys because they could definitely rob a bank and you'd never pick them out of a lineup.
Right. And then they could call him something Phage and something beige and shit like that. Just shit that rhyme with Gage. So we don't have to belabor the point about Brock Lesnar anymore, but piggybacking off the last 2 weeks, shit's crazy out there. Let's get to that 2 count.
1, 2, 3.
2 beer. What's the 2 count?
2 count. AEW Dynamite just finished it up a little over an hour ago, and
how was it watching it on the West Coast?
It was actually pretty nice. It started at 5 p.m.
Jesus
which
Christ,
is cool.
That's ridiculous.
I got off work and just started watching it. I was doing some work on my computer, and fortunately, the first match with Juventud Guerrero and Chris Jericho, I had to watch on mute because my boss called me and we were talking over some stuff.
Damn him. Doesn't he know at 5 o'clock this shit's over? You can need to watch AEW at that point. Do we need to talk to him?
Is he was very profusely apologetic about calling me after 5, but
got to keep the superstars happy.
Yeah, no, it was good. Company culture is good, but work-life balance is a big thing. So here in the Pacific Northwest, different world.
You can't get fired. They need your short game.
yeah.
Phil Mickelson over here.
Yeah, but yeah. So this was a fun, entertaining edition of AEW. It was not a marquee show. We did have a couple marquee matches with kind of just a lot of continuity and just storyline filler in the middle. So the show was bookended by the beginning, which was Chris Jericho versus Juventud Guerrero, with the stipulation that Chris Jericho had to win with a maneuver off the top rope. From what I saw, this was a fun match. Juvi doesn't seem to have lost a step, definitely still doing some high-flying stuff, nothing crazy in 1996. Shit, that was 25 years ago. I can't even barely walk down a set of stairs without...
Let me stop you there because you were having a meeting with your boss. The first 5 minutes of this match were pretty rough. They tried to top rope scissors that just failed. They tried a Hurricane Rana that just didn't work.
Who was supposed? Okay, go back to the Hurricane Rana. Who was supposed to do the work in that one?
Juvi.
Really? He couldn't do the actual, forward flip?
They had timing. They were having timing issues for the first 5 or 6 minutes. pretty bad. I mean, it looked like like old people fucking. That's what it looked like.
Ooh, dude, I'm about to say, A, I don't know what old people fucking looks like, and B, why
When's
are you
the last
watching?
time you had sex?
Oh, you motherfucker.
There must not have been a mirror around.
Fuck you too, you.
I can't believe you fell for that.
You're fucking climbing on the damn pile, motherfucker. You goddamn dog piling on a nigga. Shit.
It did have the match did have a good finish, and Zach said he was in a meeting, so I understand. Like, he probably wasn't watching as closely as I was. This is the first time I've watched just AEW Dynamite straight through with commercials because I knew I had to come out here and talk about it. And my boss called me and I just didn't answer. I was like, sorry,
Fuck you.
my first my loyalty to the podcast.
Am I not on vacation, people? Why are you calling me?
No, nobody calls me. Nobody calls me. But I did watch it. It just the timing was off. They ended up ending it. The last 5 minutes were fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It wasn't great. It was fine. It's just Jericho probably needs somebody a little younger than him in there with him to do some heavy lifting.
I guess, how old is Hoovy? I guess there's the next question. Not like it really truly matters.
Same age as Jericho, probably.
Okay, fair enough.
Hard living. I'll look it up.
Okay, I guess with all, knowledge or forethought, I was at work, obviously, so I didn't get a chance to see AEW. So I'm going to have a few questions coming in. Bill told me basically what happened, but how did Jericho win the match? Because obviously he had to come off the top rope to do...
He did a spinning Judas... Judas effect.
Which I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, what's he going to do? And then it totally made sense. Like, once he did it, I'm like, well, duh.
It worked, and it looked pretty good.
Okay, then that's what's up. Okay.
Yeah,
then.
he did a spinning Judas effect from the top rope. He goes over. Wardlow comes out and attacks Jericho. MJF says that next week it's going to be Wardlow versus Jericho with MJF as the guest referee. I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. Maybe they won't get out of this one. What do you think, Zach?
I was thinking the same thing. I'm thinking something along the lines of ref bump or Jericho knocks Max out and Aubrey Edwards comes out to a huge pop to count to 3 or something. That's the only thing I could really think of. But they don't tend to book and then try to figure out how to get themselves out of something. They tend to have a plan. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing how clever they are.
Okay, now I would lean towards Zach on that one, where I think they have a plan. We just don't. It feels like they've booked themselves into a corner because now MJF is the special guest referee, so I would tend to agree with that. I think we all know that Jericho is going to run the table. It's just now how creative can they get as he runs the table.
I mean, there's another way they get creative, though. They could have MJF be completely dirty about it and then have somebody else come in and say, nah, that's not legit. Or they can have Jericho not win the 5 labors and then somehow get into a different kind of... In fact, I would kind of like that. Why does every best of 7 series have to go 7?
Yeah. No, I get that. I'll just say this. I think...
Because it's wrestling.
Right. That, number one, and number two, with Adam Page not going over. No.
Sorry.
It's not raging the Page with the
getting my short blonde Adams mixed up.
Right. With Adam Page not going over, I think they're not going to do that same maneuver a second time. One payoff is getting ready to happen. I think this is the payoff that's going to happen where Jericho runs the table. What Kenny Omega does for All Out, I guess we're getting ready to find out in the next couple of weeks. CM Punk obviously being the rumored opponent, or is he?
He was wearing Kenny, who was great on the show, that facial hair, just the Harley Race facial hair on such a douchebag.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah. He was also wearing a Cookie Monster T-shirt, and what does Cookie Monster's initials? CM. So, yeah, I think that's the only reason he had to be wearing such a douchebag T-shirt, because he would have picked some other douchebag T-shirt.
No, but I think that's AEW. They're not too overt, but they're overt enough.
That might be some QAnon shit, though. Really, is that really why he was wearing the Cookie Monster shirt?
Damn right, man.
I just saw it on Twitter, and I was like, man, I was like, look at that goddamn shirt. I'm like, what a douchebag. And then I saw it on Twitter, people, because I was watching live, people were just like, Cookie Monster, CM Punk. It was like Illuminati shit, but it still made sense.
Kenny Omega was spectacular on this AEW Dynamite, though, I will say.
So were the Bucks. They're wearing rompers, like different rompers.
And they have two different color hair now.
Okay, so
their hair is different color now.
So who had what hair?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ. Zach, help your boy out.
I was cooking, too. I got a lot of stuff going on in my house. I don't know.
Help your boy out. What did the Bucks...
Nick has some, like, highlights, like, much more blondish.
It was like strawberry blonde, kind of, or something. Maybe more red.
What did Matt have?
You remember Sun In? It was like he sprayed a bunch of Sun In his hair.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Forgot about that. Sun In.
Holy shit.
That's some Midwest white people shit.
I mean, to tell you.
Very much 90s shit.
Oh, that just made me feel old. That's a damn shame.
All right, keep us going, Zach.
So we'll talk about the bookends. So the other end of this was the match between Cody Rhodes and Malachi Black. And Malachi Black came out to a cool entrance. Definitely not as cool as his NXT entrance, but really what is. But he has like this cool thing on the back of his robe or whatever that pops up, and it looks almost like antlers. He looks kind of like a Wendigo monster whenever he's like silhouetted. Very cool. And then there
very
was a commercial
true
break.
detective.
Very True Detective, yes.
True Detective season 1.
The best season. And
easily.
He comes out, and then we have a commercial break, and then we have Cody's entrance. And Malachi essentially pretty much, I mean, there's a little bit of back and forth, but for all intents and purposes, Malachi Black pretty much squashes Cody, works his leg over quite a bit. He has not lost a beat at all. This dude is so crisp. He's so good in the ring. He's just like a consummate professional. Like when he's in there, you're just like, this dude is a great professional wrestler.
When he black masked Cody was sitting on the turnbuckle, and he black masked him off the turnbuckle onto the table onto the outside. That was pretty badass.
Absolutely, that was super cool. And then the black mask to finish it, and then he takes his time. I say he took 6 or 7 seconds after he black masked Cody before he did the cover, and it wasn't even a cover. He just put his foot on his throat, and they counted the 3.
That's a squash.
And so Tony Schiavone comes out, is interviewing Cody as Cody's waking up, and this is so believable. This relationship with Tony and Cody, and having seen Tony my whole life, and having seen Tony interview Cody's dad, and all of this coming together, and then Cody decides to start cutting this promo about legacy and about how they are not alternative programming, they're destination programming, and his face has been on this brand for 3 years, and he feels so lucky. And he throws in some work stuff about having disagreements with the EVPs because they're heels and he's a face, and he's talking about maybe it's time for somebody else's face to be on the trucks and the posters, and he's like, maybe I have had some outside opportunities, and maybe that's not the only reason he's doing it. So all of this feeds into reality. This storyline that Cody has done. I'm getting choked up watching him. He's so goddamn good. He's just so goddamn good at what he does.
You're getting worked. I'm not believe you. You're getting worked. Unreal.
I got worked so hard because I knew he was leaving because he's doing this show, right? So I knew he was leaving. And
so
I
what are you getting worked?
Dude, the guy took his boots off. He's like
Undertaker took his boots off. He came back.
Hold on. He took a boot off.
A boot, yes. So he took
and Malachi Black hit him with the crutch before he could take the other one off.
And that's when I knew it was 100% an angle, and I was like, God damn it, I got worked. But like, that's why I love wrestling. It's like I wasn't even mad. I was just happy that I got worked. I was happy that I was so invested that I got worked.
That's
I love you, Zach. But that's why I love that's
pro wrestling.
That's
man.
pro wrestling, and that's pro wrestling at its best. Like it or not, whether you like AEW or not, whether you like WWE or not, the emotional investment is what makes pro wrestling great. You know what I'm saying? When you're up late at night and you're seeing Kenny Omega, doing a V trigger into your screen and knocking on, Okada into that screen, that's what makes things great. Okay, This is one of those things.
I'm not gonna make fun of Zach for getting worked. I will say that,
I will. Mark.
I was sitting there and my wife wasn't paying attention. I was sitting there getting ready to drive down here to Jason's. Like, I was getting ready to take off right after so everything could be ready so the podcast could go. And when the match ended, it was 7 minutes left. I was like, what is going on here? And I was like, no, Shivani's out here.
Right.
And he's talking to
yeah,
Cody.
You better stay. This is some NXT shit.
And then Cody started talking, and I just kept looking over at Erin. She was not paying attention to me at all, and I'm just looking for some kind of human connection, while this is going on, and she's just not giving it to me at all. And I started petting Reba, and Reba starts looking at my face. I was like, I know it's fucked up, right, Reba?
What's wrong with Cody?
And then Erin goes, why do you keep looking at me? I was like, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, is he getting ready to retire? Is he trying to play? Like, is he kayfabe retiring? And then he took the boot off, and Aaron's like, he's just taking his boot off. I was like, no, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a
thing. That means he's
that's
retiring. And I go, I wouldn't be surprised if the lights turned off right now, because I was ready for the lights to turn off and the lights turn back on, and Daniel Bryan's there or something like that. And then Aleister Black just came out and crushed him with a crutch and just kind of like smiled over him and took off again. It was well done. Cody is good at what he did, good at what he does. I never thought for a second, I thought that he was getting written off TV for 6 months or something, which he probably should be, especially.
His reality show is getting ready to come up.
He did have a line where he said, some other people, maybe it's time for me to step aside and some other people can eat. And I was thinking, okay.
He's like, we set this table. Now it's time for other people to eat.
Scorpio Sky. Excuse me.
Well, there's also CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and
hey, man,
Brock Lesnar coming.
Okay,
Scorpio Sky.
Look.
Have fun on Dark, dude.
Anybody that looks like me should at least have some sort of opportunity at said table. That's all I'm saying.
Gary Payton should challenge for the Neverweight Open Championship.
Fuck you.
Oh, you mean look like you just black? Oh, I thought you meant actually look like you. I was thinking about the glove.
Yeah, Gary Payton should not be coming for the Neverweight title at any time.
Jason, I know you didn't watch it, but do you have any thoughts?
You told me what was happening, and I was just like, damn. To me, the two major questions that I had immediately was, you said it was a squash, so I was like, is it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes? You were like, it's 5, 7 minutes.
I think it was less than 5.
But then I was like, okay, so.
I can check it real fast.
So it was like, at that point, that's what we want. You know what I'm saying? As much as we don't want Cody Rhodes to be the gatekeeper, he's the gatekeeper for a reason, okay? Brody Lee crushing Cody Rhodes is one of those memories we will always hold. I haven't seen what Aleister Black did, but that was the second question. I was like, was it worse than Brody Lee? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, really? So I'm like, at that point, you've already piqued my interest, and I haven't seen this shit. And that's, once again, going back to the word of the day for this podcast is goodwill. Goodwill goes a long, long way. Even I haven't even seen this, but now that I'm talking about it, I'm starting to get giddy because I'm thinking, okay, number one, they did it right. Aleister Black, aka Malachi Black, shouldn't come off of the side of the milk carton and just lose his first match like Karrion Kross, or let's trade, wins like Kross and Keith Lee. He came out and crushed the face of AEW the way he should. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, now from there, we need to book him strong, and that's where, things might get a little jippity-joppity. But at least you did it right the very first time. He came out, crushed his ass, put his fucking foot on his fucking throat. That's how we do. This is Malachi Black, and that makes him look like a legit threat versus Karrion Kross that loses his first match, fuckery or not, versus Jeff Hardy.
All right, let's keep it going, Zach. What else happened?
I'm still stuck on Jippity Joppity.
I was going to let it go. Like,
not my word. Shout out to John Collins. I love you, brother, but that is not my word.
John Collins. I thought you were going to say fucking Dick Gregory or something.
No, he says Jippity Joppity all the time. That's my boy. But it's true. It's no different.
There was some stuff in the middle here that was fun. I mean, we had some Adam Page storyline stuff with, and one thing I like about AEW is they try to set up these storylines so that at least like it's believable, like whenever it's on camera. So like they're doing an interview with the Dark Order, and Page just kind of comes in from off camera. It looks like just to grab a beer.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Oh, hey." Yeah, they're like, "Oh, hey, Adam, like, we haven't talked to you all week." So, like, not making us think that we're idiots and that these guys haven't, like, spoken because it's been an entire week. And, like, "Oh, we haven't talked to you all week, like, what's going on?" And he essentially breaks up with the Dark Order, and it seems like it's...
What?
It's, like, official at this time. He's like, "I love you guys, but I have to do this on my own. I've created all these problems with the Elite, and they're my problems
I cost you guys your tag match last week, and...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get my knee-jerk reaction on this one because, obviously, like I said, I didn't see this. So if we're going to go with the storyline that's presented, I love Adam Page, and I see what they're doing with this because that's a babyface move. I'm going to fall in the grenade. It's my bad, Even though he didn't fuck it up, he's going to take responsibility for fucking it up. This is why, once again, goodwill is going to be the word of the fucking podcast. Even though Adam Page lost, I will not be surprised ultimately if he's the guy that beats Kenny Omega after he has to jump through the CM Punk hurdle or the Daniel Bryan hoop, so on and so forth. AEW does it the right way. I shouldn't say it that way. They at least have goodwill to the point where now, even though you might not agree with what happened last week, you're willing to let this thing play itself out. I'm telling you, Adam Page is going to be the AEW champion. He's going to beat Kenny Omega. I can't tell you when and where, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I want to see it, and they're just making us want to see it each week.
Exactly.
And so even to add to that, he comes out and does an interview, and before they can even do it, the Elite come out as a big group, and Adam has nobody, and they start taunting him, and then, Page does this fantastic smack. I mean, the microphone's right in Kenny's mouth because he's talking, and it picks up every bit of acoustics of Adam Page's hand hitting Kenny Omega's face, and it's so perfect.
This shit.
And then they just destroy him. They give him the Magic Killer, and the Dark Order comes out. But then Stu Grayson essentially gets in front of him and says, "Hey, no, Adam wants us to stay out of his business." So he kind of corrals the Dark Order, and they go back. So then he has nobody, and Frankie Kazarian comes out to try to make the save, but that doesn't work because he's just one dude. He runs wild for a minute. And then Adam gets another belt shot, Kenny gives him another belt shot. So This is very much just making us want to see Kenny's comeuppance via Adam Page, not via anybody else. We all love Kenny because of his in-ring ability, and even people that dislike him as a heel love him as a performer. And you want to see him lose, not just to anybody. You want to see him lose to Adam Page. This is the overarching storyline, And this is Adam Page's story since the first AEW show ever.
That's
he was
right.
like in the number one contender.
When we were arguing about who should be the first champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this is long-term storytelling, and it rules.
I'll just say this. From what I'm hearing, my only question is this. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno are quote unquote holding back the Dark Order. There's like 15 of these guys. Give me a fucking break. I mean, 2 guys are going to hold back 15.
Listen, there's a chain of command. There's a chain of command.
Okay.
And either they respect Evil Uno, you respect the chain of command, or the whole thing falls apart.
No.
You ever seen Band of Brothers? You ever seen Black Hawk Down?
I have not seen Band of Brothers. I have seen Black Hawk Down, and I would say on
there's a chain of command.
There's not. There could be a chain of command. There can also be like a deviation from said chain of command. Okay. See, January 6th.
Let me tell you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, but yeah, okay.
Okay,
All
I'm
right,
just
all
saying.
right,
Okay, I'm just making sure. Did I get the date right? Did I fuck that up?
I want to tell you the part of AEW that warmed my heart the most. Is there was a 6-way match between Everrise and Daniel, a guy named. Did I write this down right? Daniel Garcia.
Maybe. I don't know.
He was new. I'd never seen him before.
They're just 3 dudes.
Don't look at me and shit. I was over here kissing ass.
You know everybody.
I wasn't watching.
I didn't recognize him as Everrise either. And they come out.
Told me it was Everrise.
Darby Allin comes out first. Eddie Kingston and Moxley come out. And so it's going to be Allin, Moxley, and Kingston versus these dudes. And they have about an 11-minute match. And in front of a live crowd, Eddie Kingston came to AEW during the pandemic. Did not have a whole lot of, was not able to perform in front of a live crowd. And when he did perform in front of a live crowd, it was, a bunch of undercard guys and jobbers and shit like that. People that were on the payroll, but that's what they had to do during the pandemic. There's nothing wrong with that. But to see Eddie Kingston get the adulation that he did today when he got tagged in by Darby Allin.
You were scaring me there for a second. I'm like, what did he do?
Oh, he was beloved by the crowd. The crowd went crazy for Eddie Kingston, and you could see, and I had the volume down low because I was doing other stuff and I was in the other room, but I saw him when he got tagged in, and with the volume down low, I could see him, body language means something. And he turns to the crowd and he acknowledged man, this means something to me. That's probably the most people he's ever had cheering for him, besides last week or the week before. But I mean, it does. It's probably still new to Eddie Kingston. And Eddie Kingston, as a guy who I follow on Twitter, and as a guy who I've heard in interviews, and as a guy who seems like a genuine fucking lifer, and a guy who's very loud about Black Lives Matter and about taking care of your friends and shit like that, it really warmed my heart to see him get the ovation and the fan love that he got. Did you get that too, Zach?
Oh, 100%. You hit it on the head as far as warming your heart. It is so cool to see him, because he's probably in the twilight of his career. He's been doing it forever, so he's finally made it. And people love him, and with good reason. It was very cool.
And then at the end of the match, when Sting was in the ring with him, even though Sting wasn't in the match, he had a couple spots, and because he was there with Darby Allin, and Sting was there with him, and Eddie Kingston grabs Sting's arm and he looks right into the hard camera and he goes, "Fucking Sting!" And Sting gave out one of the woos, and Eddie Kingston was marking out himself. It was a really fun match. Even it was probably one of those matches I would have fast forwarded through if I had it on.
No real. For me, it doesn't really have much storyline, just the way you guys are describing it. There's not much storyline to it, but it just sounds like it's a fun, entertaining match. Eddie Kingston gets his props on live TV. And I know this is totally off
Darby
script.
got the pin with the coffin drop. Moxley was doing all sorts of heelish face stuff outside. Like he was like beating guys up on the outside and then putting his hands in his pockets and like looking around like he didn't know what was going on. It was a fun match.
Yeah,
a lot of guys
like a house show match.
A lot of guys and I know, our podcast goes regardless, but a lot of guys that we have seen on TV in some form or fashion have not had matches in front of live fans. Dominic Mysterio is the first guy that I think of off the top of my head. He's been around for a hot minute, and I know that this is the AEW segment, but this is one of those guys. Miro, if you want to go stick with AEW, Miro is going to be one of those guys that up to this point didn't really have a lot of matches in front of AEW fans. For me, that to me is the litmus test. I always wanted to see who was over when the fans came back. Was it Darby Allin? Was it Orange Cassidy, John Silver? These guys that...
Turns out it's all of them.
Right. Okay. Ultimately, that's where I'm starting to get to, but my opinion is one thing. When you have 10,000 people saying that my opinion is wrong, that's something different.
Yeah, that was fun. And then I think really only other thing, another thing of note, a couple things with the women's division. Britt Baker, huge star, another self-made AEW star, total heel, but everybody loves her. People chant that DMD, and it's just so cool to see her really kind of come into her own. And Red Velvet comes out to challenge her. Red Velvet's going to be a good addition to this AEW women's roster, and Red Velvet kicks out the line about, "Oh, you beat me when I was enhancement talent." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's what's up.
I was actually going to bring that up as something that I didn't like. I brought this up on the podcast before. Like the insider terms, they might run a little too hot in AEW. I popped too, and then like the more I thought about it, maybe I should think less about it. Maybe I should just be like, okay, if I pop, it's good enough.
No, because I mean, that's not always, that the way it should be for every instance. I'll just say this: when Daniel Bryan, or not Daniel Bryan, but who was saying in WWE was using Finn Balor. Finn Balor was using push and over, and that was on NXT. But I mean, it still resonated to me personally because it was almost like he was talking to me, to where, this guy was getting this push, but this guy is not getting this push for this reason. So for me, even though I didn't see it, I just think it's the same thing.
I kind of think, though, if you have... And listen, I'm not saying anybody's wrong for liking this, because it is fun, and obviously we're all in on the joke if we're adults watching wrestling. I'm just saying, for me, if everything's kind of a shoot or kind of a work shoot, then then it takes away from when you're actually going to have a real work shoot. Because work shoots are the best. They're the best thing.
So what's Max Caster? Is this just trolling?
A mistake.
Oh, do we want to?
Well, I mean, this is the AEW, portion of the program.
Quick.
Okay, let's talk about Max Caster.
Last thing for Dynamite before Max Caster. I love the visual of Layla Hirsch beat the Bunny to be the number one contender for the NWA title, and Camille is the NWA champion. And she was there, and she came up, and just the visual of Camille and Layla Hirsch.
Wait. Stop the fucking tape. Because I know that I'm the only one of the three of us that watched NWA on a regular basis. Camille showed up on AEW programming tonight?
She was in the front row.
Oh, man, hell no. Man. Okay,
Dude, it looked like Andre the Giant.
Yeah, right, in front of,
It was just outrageous.
Camille and Jade is my dream match. Okay.
Did you guys buy tickets to the NWA show?
73 is sold out as of today. I think Little Brother put that on Twitter. That sold out, but NWA Power, the women's all show, I guess that's either Friday or Saturday before the 73 anniversary show. There are still some tickets available, but
October?
No, it's at the end of the month.
Okay, yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, you're out.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. I'll say, sit your narrow ass down. You can sit down for a little bit, take a couple plays off. But that's great, honestly. I mean, all bullshit aside, just for 30 seconds, woo for the Lou. We're one of those cities that has been overlooked for a long, long time. This has been a major hub for NWA when I was a kid. This is a good fucking thing to put St. Louis back on the map as a wrestling city. I know Chicago's there. That's AEW land, and I get that. But let's not forget about this little Lou over here, because we have a lot of fucking wrestling history over here. Wrestling at the Grandel will probably get a little bit of a little push on that, but we'll talk about that.
All right,
later.
let's do some quick hits at the end of AEW. We had Brian Cage and
you want to talk about Max Caster?
I do want to talk about Max Caster. We'll save that for the end. Let's Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks. They both had a promo segment. It was a little vignette segment. I gotta say, that's the most I've ever heard Brian Cage talk. The dude's probably a pretty good talker. Like, he seemed like a real baby face. Ricky Starks seemed like an asshole. It made me want to see the match more. I know that people are kind of disengaged from this Team Taz thing, but I don't know. That's the thing that made me like Brian Cage more than anything I've ever seen. Zach, am I wrong?
Oh no, it was good. Like, he does a good job speaking. Like, he doesn't need a mouthpiece. He definitely is one of those guys that can stand back and look formidable while like Taz talks, but it's not required. Yeah.
Okay. Miro versus
charisma.
Miro versus Lee Johnson. Better match than I thought it was going to be. Lee Johnson looked really good. Miro made him look really good. Miro eventually ended up taking them
breaking them in half.
Yeah, with the accolade.
Poor Lee Johnson.
I'm looking forward to seeing who faces Miro next.
Kip Sabian is my knee-jerk reaction. They've been teasing it a long time. It feels right. I mean, it's a match that Miro should win, no matter who it is. I don't care who it is at All Out.
Daniel Bryan.
He should win that match.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, I said okay.
Does that make you feel better, motherfucker?
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
wolf is coming.
I'm just fucking...
No, because I know you. I know what you're trying to do.
What am I trying to do?
You're trying to get me to really just make myself look bad over like 2 or 3 years saying how bad that Rusev was. And Rusev
that's
is different.
what my plan is. I got a real fucking long game here going. Real long con. Have you ever fucking met me?
Yeah, you're a gambling motherfucker.
I don't remember what happened last week. 2 or 3 years. Zach, what did you think about the match?
Yeah, it was totally fine. I mean, the outcome was expected, but yeah, I mean, it's good for Lee Johnson to get some, shine going on there, get a title match, and
who do you think that Miro
I thought
faces?
He looked great.
Okay, who do you think Miro faces at All Out? There you go, because that's the ultimate question.
Who do you think Miro faces at Rampage? I mean, there's another pay-per-view in between now
that's
and all.
That's not a pay-per-view. It's on
the Sunday,
Friday
right?
show.
No, that's a Friday.
That's the new every Friday show. It's another hour of television.
That'll be the hour after SmackDown.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
You would think that somebody that has a wrestling podcast would know that.
Well, you got a baby coming, so I'm gonna give
Rampage,
you the slot
Adam
on
Page,
that.
Christian Cage, Brian Cage, Diamond Dallas Page, Ethan Page.
Oh, Jesus. That should be the whole Rampage, opening segment. With anybody that is, rhyming with Page or Cage, that should be the opening segment. There's 5 or 6 of those guys. I mean, it should be easy. It shouldn't be a problem.
Julia Hart, barely of age.
Okay, there you go. Now, let's talk about it. There you go.
Well, I was going to... Okay, let's talk about it. It's fine. Let's talk about the Max Caster promo. The Max Caster, he comes out on Dark. He does his shitty rap, which I have I'm not going to act like I'm a guy. I'm not going to say words like bars. I'm not going to say words like y'all. I'm not going to be one of these white advocates that acts like they're in on black culture. I will say, though, that his promos suck dick. They're not good. They're not good. I hate him every time. But I'm going to defend him here.
What?
I'm going to defend him here.
By all means. This should be good.
First of all, he said, you'll claim it's mental issues like Simone Biles. Simone Biles claimed it was mental issues. That's not even a dig on Simone Biles. All he did was bring up Simone Biles. It's not, and I don't want to have a Simone Biles conversation.
We're not. I was going to say, I already know what I want to say on that.
Every single Simone Biles take out there is bad. I don't care if you're pro Simone Biles. I don't care if you're anti Simone Biles. Every single one is bad. I never want to hear another Simone Biles take again. But all he was doing was kind of rapping. The second thing he said, do you like Duke Lacrosse? That's a fucking stupid rhyme. But it's not that bad because the Duke Lacrosse guys got completely exonerated. They actually disbarred the prosecutor. And I'm not a big Duke Lacrosse fan or anything. I'm just saying everybody remembers that being really bad. And then,
but at the end of the day.
But nobody remembers the retraction. Nobody remembers the prosecutor getting disbarred because he was so slimy. I'm not saying those kids didn't do some slimy shit or even sexual assault. I'm just saying it's a dumb fucking rhyme. Third one being he talked about
Julia
Hart's vagina. He has been slut-shaming her the past few weeks. That's bad. Stop slut-shaming women, you fucking assholes. I can only think, though, that Julia Hart might have been in on it. Maybe they're friends. I don't know. This didn't seem... When I heard that this was like such a bad fucking promo and such a bad fucking rap, and then I actually watched it, I was like, that's not even that bad.
Two Beer, go ahead.
I had a similar take on it, just because I expected it to be much worse because the vitriol was so bad. But yeah, if Julia Hart was not kosher with it, then it does.
Then it's not cool, and slut shaming is not cool either.
Yeah, slut shaming in general is not cool. If for the sake of entertainment, she's okay with it, and they talk about it, and it's something to garner heat. I mean, there are many worse things that have happened in pro wrestling than a consensual heat rocket, right? But yeah, I mean, was it ill-advised? Totally. In 2021, you got a pretty progressive company that really kind of takes those kinds of things seriously. I can see where he's going. I mean, listen to all this shit that I say on the podcast just for laughs. It's just I don't mean any of that shit.
We also don't have sponsors except for Bill's Beard Company.
Exactly.
Bill's Beard Company has thought about pulling out of the podcast a couple times over shit that you've said. But did you think Zach was going to agree with me?
No, I thought actually he was going to agree with me on this one. But, I mean, that's okay. That's the great part about wrestling and America in general. We all have our opinion. I'll just say this. Number one, as somebody that thinks that he's a mentally strong individual, a year ago, I struggled like nobody's business. And I can look at the guy across from me because he saw me struggle a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going to sit up here and dismiss what Simone Biles was struggling with. If she is struggling with mental health, then so be it, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and say that she should push through or anything along those lines like that. I can't do flips. I'm lucky enough to do a goddamn cartwheel. I'm not going to go on a national, dare I say, a world stage.
You couldn't do a cartwheel.
I'll do one right now, motherfucker. Don't even test me, okay? Please. I'll do one on the way out the door, okay?
All right.
That being said, I'm not going to sit up here and think that she is not going through something that is not difficult for her, okay? I don't necessarily. It's the same thing when Charlotte said that shit on Raw on Monday night. It kind of, she brought it up. I was like, ugh, it just was. It's a bad look. It's bad timing. Okay, sorry, not sorry. That's just me. You guys can disagree. Not a problem with that.
No, you're right. Like I said, it was a mistake. He didn't read the room.
And that's ultimately right now, 2021. The room is you need to be a little more sensitive. Okay,
He
didn't say anything bad about her though.
No, I'm not even talking about the Simone Biles thing. Yeah,
I'm talking about
the people that say that he is offensive about Simone Biles. Like if you look, all he did was reference it. It's just it's pop culture.
Okay,
in the news.
It's the most pop culture.
No, that's what rap music is. But once again, you have to still read the room. This is not a room that you should throw that shit out there. Okay, because there's going to be some pushback.
Can I say this? Can I say this? I want to separate the Simone Biles comment from, let's just say, the other two comments, because I saw some stuff on Twitter where people were saying about the Duke Lacrosse line, like, yeah, you can bring up stuff, but it shouldn't be at the expense of the victims. Every time I hear a joke, whether it be a rape joke or a racist joke, I'm like, who's the butt of this joke? If you say a joke about somebody saying the N-word, is the joke about the black people or is the joke about the fucking hick that still says the N-word? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how I view comedy.
It's a totally different way to look at it.
You never punch down, right? You never punch down at somebody that's less privileged than you.
You are.
And that's the way I look at it as a white guy that grew up middle class.
Honestly, I look at it as
I never felt like Simone Biles was the butt of that joke.
I thought she was immediately.
And the Duke Lacrosse thing is just stupid. Ugh. First of all, it's not very topical. It's from 15 years ago, and it's just stupid.
Okay, and once again, my knee-jerk reaction was like, man, come on, man. You cannot say that.
The one about Julie Hart's...
That is what it is. It's crass, but
it's crass.
It's the least, to me, it's the least offensive of all three in the insults.
And when they said it, when he said it,
scary.
She was looking at the camera and she made a face like she's like, I've heard better.
Right.
She's like, that's not very good. That's not a very good joke.
The least offended of the three.
It didn't seem like a very offensive rap to me. He could have had better bars. That's what guys say on Twitter. They're like, oh, he could have had better bars.
Max Caster is not supposed to be. He's the John Cena of AEW, the Doctor of Thugonomics. His shit wasn't good, but it was edgy to where it's like, oh, shit, what did he just say? Oh, shit, what did he just say? This was something that went like 2 or 3 steps over that line. You can't be edgy
just by bringing up Simone Biles, though. And it's almost like that's a reaction by the audience more than it is by the performer. That's what I thought.
Okay,
and that's just me keeping it as real as fuck.
And I agree with that, but unfortunately, that reaction spills over to where I came home last night, and I'm like, Max Caster, what the fuck did he say? So then I had to go, the YouTube to find this shit out. I was just like, okay, this ain't a good look.
They're mad at Max Caster because he's got big blue butts bouncing out of the bottoms of coffins on live TV, and he didn't do shit. He didn't rig shit.
He's got big blue butts falling out of shit wood and landing on concrete.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Bottom line for Max Caster, no more scamming adults.
I did not.
Bottom line is that Tony Khan is going to be back on, making sure that the edits get the way they should be.
That's Tony Khan. Like,
no, he dropped the ball. Let's just call it for what it is. That's NWA.
Tony Khan, that's Tony Khan taking the bullet. He's like, oh, this is my bad. I'm gonna.
Same thing that happened when Jim Cornette.
He's not actually going to edit everything. He's gonna assign some people that he trusts and be like, if you make me
I'm
look
not
like
saying
a fool
he's
again,
gonna be there. I'm just saying it's the same thing when Jim Cornette said the joke about the Ethiopians or the Kenyans, whatever he said on
way worse.
What's way worse?
The thing that Jim Cornette said.
Cornette's thing was worse, and also because there's only two dudes that edit, and one of them's Billy Corgan, and the other is that Dave dude, and there's only two guys that edit that show, and they let that slip.
Yeah, and plus, Jim Cornette can't disarm you with a smile. You know what I mean?
And Max Caster can.
It's a smashing pump.
Okay, I was about to say, come on, man. He's about to say, read the fucking room, motherfucker. That's what we've been talking about for the last 5 minutes. Black guy, don't know Smashing Pumpkins.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so the 3 count is going to be NXT. I'm assuming we all saw this, right?
Yes. I did. I can't speak for two.
I did not.
I was going to say, I'm going to probably go with him saying no. God bless him. God bless you, man. Keep on that hard fight.
So I have like the least personality here, but I'm the only one that watches everything?
Dude, I mean, come on, man. You fucked it up this week by saying that you had fucking...
a kid on the way?
You had tickets, okay? That was the whole thing on our text thread is that you had tickets, okay? We all know you got the kid on the way. But the tickets was the reason why we did it early this week. So let's not sit up here and say that you're the only one that watches everything this week. Did you watch Impact this week? I didn't think so.
No, nobody watches Impact.
I do, motherfucker.
Fucking dorks. So we had Hit Row versus Legado.
I'll come over there.
Hit Row versus Legado del Fantasmo.
Hit Row.
Ends up in the DQ.
Hit Row.
Oh, it sounds thrilling. DQ finish, you say?
Ends up in a
sorry, I missed it.
So Santos.
Original.
Oh God, he is drunk. It's late over there for him. It's
West Coast.
Oh, wait.
No, as we say,
It's only 9:46 over there.
Dude, he's been off since 5 o'clock.
Must be nice.
Nice.
Legado Santos Escobar causes the DQ. Hit Row gets it back.
Man, look.
I want to say
Vice called it right. He texted me today. He was like, "Did you watch NXT?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Dude, just got his grill snatched." I was like, "Yep, pretty much." That to me is the walking story from all this. I know that Swerve and Santos are going to wrestle for the North American title. I get that. It's going to happen. Man, look, I don't have a grill. I don't know what that would feel like, but to have somebody reach in my mouth and snatch somebody up, shit, I wish a motherfucker would. Man, Swerve better whoop that dude's ass like he stole some money. I swear to God.
So you don't have a grill?
Hell no.
You got a great set of teeth.
I'm 47, man, and I got a
But
lot
you
of
wish
teeth.
you had a grill.
Shit, I
So
wish.
somebody could snatch it.
I wish a motherfucker would
And
snatch a
then
grill in my motherfucking mouth. I would shank the dog shit out of them with the fucking... Okay, there you go.
All right,
Work pants still on? Bam. I wish a motherfucker would.
Just pull a knife on
I
me?
would shank the dog shit out of somebody.
You pulling a knife out on me?
Okay, what you got? What you got?
I got a fucking knife, dude. We gotta stab each other?
Okay, 217 might end up with Bill and Jason stabbing each other.
Put yours back in your pocket.
Hey, same time, motherfucker,
Okay.
same time.
All right,
I don't know you.
Zach, what'd you think about the match?
That's amazing. He didn't watch it. That's great. Say,
All he said was, God damn.
I'll say he didn't watch it.
So Samoa Joe comes through the back, and William Regal says, I'm going to have all these dudes. They're going to be watching you for the entire time that you're here so that you and Karrion Kross don't fight each other.
Right.
Which was Samoa Joe's gimmick. before.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
And we know that Samoa Joe is going to crush a couple of these dudes. Ridge Holland comes out and destroys Ike Manjiro, who was in the breakout tournament last week. The guy's only been
Thanks
on
for showing
NXT,
up.
The guy's only been on NXT for 2 weeks before Ridge Holland disrespects him by ripping off his jacket.
He shouldn't be wearing the jacket, number one. Number two, I guess this is what I said it last week. Before Ridge Holland got hurt, this was supposed to be the kings of NXT.
Right.
Birch, Gorkin, Pete Dunne, and then here's Ridge Holland. The great part about it for Pat McAfee is that Ridge Holland got hurt. And then Pat McAfee stepped in, and then he had a couple of great matches. Now he's on SmackDown. He's got his own thing. This was for Ridge Holland at this point to reestablish him as, you know, the muscle, the heavy behind the former Kings of NXT.
Yeah, what I liked about this was that Pete Dunne cut the promo afterwards.
Yep.
And
You want some? Come get some.
basically called everybody out.
Yeah.
Pete Dunne, it looks like we're getting Pete Dunne versus Samoa Joe sooner rather than later.
Okay, I guess
Which
here's
makes me
the
think-
question.
Okay.
Are we getting it for the NXT title? Because that's what this is all about.
Yeah, I think that Samoa Joe wins the NXT title, and then he faces Pete Dunne for it.
Okay.
It's actually what I hope
I think
happens.
that's a great match, and
Two Beer, you think the
I would
same
be-
thing that at NXT Takeover? You know, I know we're, you know, I'm not going to hold you to this because this is not the official prediction, but right now, as it stands, you think that Cross drops the title to Samoa Joe?
Yep, and I think that is a great first challenger because it's full of credibility. Because Joe doesn't necessarily need to be the top of the brand again, even though he very well could be. But he could be. You know, we don't really have transitional champions too often in NXT, so. But it could be great because we've seen Pete Dunne lead a brand when he was much younger, and the dude's only gotten better. And very oranger also. But he's really good, and I wouldn't mind seeing him take it off of Joe.
What, you live in Florida? I mean, you tanning all the time?
No,
What
that
the fuck?
defends me that he called Pete Dunne orange. I don't like it. I'm a Pete Dunne mark.
And you look like you're orange. Go ahead.
Do I look like I'm orange?
No, I'm totally bullshitting. That's why I don't even get to why you're quote unquote offended.
Just fucking around.
Like I said, quote unquote offended.
I just got high.
Dumbass.
Okay, so we had Bobby Fish versus Roderick Strong in a one-on-one match. They built it up as good as they could have in a week's time. If this match was given another 7 minutes, been an all-timer. It was a takeover match. I mean, it was 14 minutes as it was, and it was really fucking good.
I'll just say this. For me watching this match, this was about Bobby Fish dominating for about 10 minutes and then Roderick Strong taking over the last 4
But
and winning the match. But this is the way we're having NXT right now. Roderick Strong is supposed to go over. Bobby Fish did what he was supposed to do. He made Roderick Strong look as good as humanly possible in this match. I'm not looking for Bobby Fish to do anything on the single scene. Unfortunately, he's enhancement talent at this point on the single side. If this was a tag team match, maybe we can talk. Right now, Bobby Fish looks good. He looked great. I won't even say look good. He looked great coming into the ring. He looked good in the ring. They had a good match. They told a good story. But ultimately, the finish is the way it should be. It didn't look good for Roderick Strong, but he pulled out the dub. And that's all you can ask for.
what do you think about it, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Jason there. I will go back and watch this from the Hulu version because this is something that I would like to see. Those guys both rule, so I'd like to see this match.
Next up, we had LA Knight and Cameron Grimes backstage.
These motherfuckers here, boy.
And they were getting ready to wrestle the Grizzled Young Veterans. And LA Knight says, listen, these guys have been a team for a long time. How long have we been together?
2 weeks.
Cameron Grimes said 2 weeks. Or he said 2 weeks or 3 weeks or
whatever.
Not a whole lot of time, boss. Or
yeah, pretty much.
And they went out there as a tag team with Cameron Grimes still dressed as the Butler.
God bless him.
So, LA Knight starts getting worked by the Grizzly Young Veterans. Tags in Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes starts running shit, dressed as a Butler. He goes to tag in LA Knight. LA Knight drops off the apron. He's gone. So then it's Cameron Grimes who puts up a good fight against the Grizzly Young Veterans. And then it eventually succumbs and he loses.
Which he should.
This is... I don't know who the people are backstage that are writing this shit. This is perfect storytelling in professional wrestling. It is 100% perfect storytelling.
I won't say it's perfect, but it's really fucking good.
Cameron Grimes and LA Knight are the exact two dudes to pull it off, and the Grizzly Young Veterans are the exact tag team that they should be pulling it off against.
I'll say this. Number one, I like the fact that both guys have an advantage. To me, Cameron Grimes has the advantage outside the ring. But when push comes to shove, LA Knight can make Cameron Grimes do things that he doesn't want to do. So that's, to me, is like the 2021 twist of it. And then you push in Ted DiBiase at the end. It was
Ted DiBiase shows up at the end, tells Cameron Grimes he doesn't have to go through with this. He does not have to subject himself to this.
There has to be a better way.
By the way, Ted DiBiase looks like every dude that when I go to a golf tournament with my dad, shakes my dad's hand. He looks like every single one of them. Dude,
I could totally see that, too.
So normal. He doesn't even look like a wrestler anymore.
No.
He's just a normal dude.
guy. And that's what the funny part about it
looks
is.
like the kind of guy that closes the handshake like with his other hand.
Yeah, you know what's happening over here. Make sure we get this table, player.
Hey, Bill, you like Bush Light?
Yes, I do, sir.
I heard you're expecting, Bill. Yeah, what's it going to be? Is it going to be a girl or a boy? You got another Veggie in there?
Yeah, it's a girl. Just, spoiler alert, it's a girl. For me, that's why I said on Twitter,
Dad, what's with your boy Ted? Dude's fucked up. He grabbed both my hands while shaking.
Yeah, right. I'll say this. Cameron Grimes outside of the ring where he really is just taking LA Knight every fucking turn. I think that, okay, I'm not a fan of this angle anymore, but then it goes back into the ring and now it becomes even again. It's not my favorite angle on NXT, but I will say this. I'm watching every turn, and it's good. I want to see where this goes next, and that, to me, ultimately makes this a good angle.
2 beer.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are must-see TV. Like, this segment, like, if you were to cut for time, you do not cut any time from Cameron Grimes.
Oh, no. To the moon. No, he's the dude, man. He is.
I want to see what he does.
All-time ranks.
I want to see what he does outside of the CWC. Is this a CWC thing? Is this a Full Sail thing? Cameron Grimes is one of those guys that I want to see in front of live fans because that's the ultimate litmus test right now in 2021.
I might have said this before, but do you know who he reminds me of in terms of his comedy is so good, but if he felt like turning it on to be serious, he'd be so fucking good, man. Kurt Angle.
Oh yeah.
He's a Kurt Angle type dude, man. His comedy is actually good, which is pretty rare for wrestling. I mean, there's only a few. There's Angle and Foley.
He does. I will say this. He does have a good comedic. What's the word I'm looking for? Just he has that.
I'm gonna wait.
He's got a good gimmick and good timing.
No, it's good chemistry, I guess. He can play the straight guy. Where
him and LA Knight
just can go off the rails, polish my boots type shit.
Oh, I'll tell you what, when he asked Cameron Grimes to polish his boots right before the match, it was pretty homoerotic. It really was.
I just looked at it like, shine my boots, boy.
I appreciate the fuck out of it.
Shine my boots, boy. That's the JCB version of
Dakota Kai gets a vignette right after this explaining why she turned on Raquel Gonzalez. What a fucking vignette this was. I did not give a fuck about this feud until I watched that vignette. It was spectacular. It was so fucking good. What you think, Jason?
I've been a Dakota Kai mark for a hot minute, and I always thought that she was going to be the one to go and get the NXT women's title before Raquel Gonzalez. It was a surprise to me when Raquel Gonzalez, slammed EO through the table in War Games. Even a more surprise to me when she won the title. So ultimately, now we got to start looking at the landscape of NXT. There's a lot of heels, and you have the champion as a heelish kind of, champion. Once again, this is where I love Dakota Kai. She made me really believe that she was in the right, even though she's in the wrong.
That's the best heels, though. The best heels.
She kicked Raquel in the face. But they built it up to where I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Best heels are the ones that have a point.
Sense. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Even though then when there was times where I disagree, Dakota Kai is one of those where if she leaves WWE and goes somewhere else and you book her right, she can be really, really good. She's going to lose to Raquel Gonzalez, but I mean, this vignette just nailed it. This and the fucking.
I don't think she should lose.
She's going to lose.
Gonzalez.
She's going to lose.
Zach, your thoughts on Dakota Kai?
Oh yeah, she's great. Same as Jason, I've been a fan of her for a long time. She has really great turns. I mean, like her turn on Tegan Knox was fantastic. I mean, it was up there, if not the turn of the year for us a while back, and she goes all in on her character, and her ring work is some of the best in the women's division in NXT, for sure. I mean, she's right up there with Candice LeRae and EO. Like, she's one of the top workers in the company.
Well, I mean, when she turned on Raquel Gonzalez and gave her that big boot was a big boot.
Raquel sold it, and that's the great part about it, is that the boot hit it, and then Raquel was just like a big-ass tree going down, and from that point, it's on. That made me invested in this whole match.
Trey Baxter versus Joe Gacy. Trey Baxter goes over in about 6 minutes. Oh, by the way, I never told you the Malachi Black Cody Rhodes match was 5 minutes and 9 seconds. But
squash.
It's a squash. Trey Baxter goes over Joe Gacy in a little over 5 minutes. I don't know what to think about this. I have no idea who they're going to put over in this thing. I have no sense of it.
I'll just say this, and I said it multiple times. I got a huge problem with the fact that they didn't put out a bracket before this whole tournament started. New Japan is my favorite wrestling promotion, so when we have something like this, there's a bracket coming out, so you can kind of gauge. Yeah, I'm a New Japan guy, so I'm going to speak for me, and then that's we.
Okay, sure.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I will.
Speak. Yeah. Two Beer can speak for himself too. Yeah. When you're gone, we're definitely going to speak for ourselves. For me in this scenario,
fuck dare you?
For me in this scenario, I just have a problem with the fact that it's not just I shouldn't say that. It's a bigger thing than just AEW and New Japan. I really wish that this was going to be a really swinging door where everybody can get involved. New Japan, NWA, Impact, the whole shebang. It feels like 2 or 3 guys can get in. It should be like 4 or 5 can get in. And once those 4 or 5 get in, that's going to be where the WWE has the biggest problem because now everybody's working in concert.
All right, finally, we have Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano in a lover or leave her match where Johnny Gargano, if he wins, Dexter Lumis is not allowed to approach Indy Hartwell anymore.
You better watch this shit because this is going to be you here in like 16, 17 years, give or take.
What, listen, my daughter, if I have a daughter.
No, you don't have a daughter.
My daughter is allowed to do whatever she wants to, as long as she makes the right decisions. You know, I'm not going to deny my 18-year-old daughter.
Two-Beard, you have
my
kids.
16-year-old daughter from French kissing.
Two-Beard, you have kids. So are you going to let any of your daughters date someone that's a little sketchy? I mean, we just don't know who he is.
Now I get what you're going with. No, Dexter Lumis is not sketchy. Dexter Lumis is a stand-up dude. No, he's a monogamist. He's got one girl.
Look, if you're okay, this sounds like what's the movie I'm thinking about? American Beauty. It feels like this is a little too much of a focus on one woman. I don't want any man,
I'll tell you what,
drawing.
I saw American Beauty, and I knew who Kevin Spacey is. I don't think he was ever focusing on one woman. I think he was. Okay, all right. All right,
I was focused on one woman, but I mean, that's just me.
Kevin Spacey is. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Kevin Spacey got busted for molesting boys that were younger than him. He's gay. He's gay.
That's real life. That's real life.
He's a gay man.
That's real life.
You ever seen Bring Handy by Kids in the Hall? You're gay. He's like, I don't know why this guy keeps sucking my dick.
I ain't gay.
I mean, his shorts were down around his goddamn ankles. What was I supposed to
do? How dare you suck my penis?
Went to a weird spot here.
I really have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, Zach, what you think about Lumis versus Gargano? This is what happens when me and Jason smoke weed together.
No, you took it.
I mean, the main thing that I noticed when I was reading the recap was that they had a stipulation and they killed it like 30 seconds after the match. Like, it was just like, why even do the match?
No,
like,
okay.
You killed your stipulation.
No,
like,
Dexter Lumis was not allowed to approach Indy Hartwell. Didn't say anything about Indy Hartwell.
Win the match.
They called it the Thez Press of Love,
dude.
Which I'm into. I think that's funny.
I'm all about Index. You know how I am about this.
I think that's funny. Oh, you're all about Index?
Yeah, I've said it multiple times. I mean, look, I'm the guy that does not like wrestling more than what it is. I want to see 2 guys beat each other down. Moose and Ishii just was announced for resurgence on New Japan. I was like, what the fuck is this? That sounds like
that sounds cool, but we're talking about Indy Hartwell and Dexter Lumis.
So let me come back to my point. My point is,
Zach's out there on the West Coast being like, man, these motherfuckers with their sports entertainment.
It's like, I can't keep up with all this shit. My point is that I love the fact that you have this sports entertainment angle on NXT where a guy like me, and I have been that guy for 3-4 years, how long this podcast has been going. I like wrestling. I don't necessarily want to see comedy in wrestling. But in this scenario, I'm guilty as charged. For me, Index is for what Bill is, where it's Dexter Lumis and LA Knight. Both angles talk to each other for me, Index talks to me because it's so awkward. You know these two jokers are in love and they feel each other, but they can't just make it work. And then at the end of last night's episode, when Johnny Gargano wins, so at this point, Indy has to go away. Dexter has to go away. You know what I'm saying? You both jokers got to go to their opposite fucking ends of the spectrum, but then Indy comes down, tax Dexter Lumis, and then we have the Index Press of Love or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I know what Zach's thinking right now. He's thinking, man, I wish it was Central Time Zone so I could just be like, man, I can go to bed right now. Nope, motherfucker, it's only 10 o'clock.
Yeah, no
That'll
shit.
do for our 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, before we get into that odds and ends, we got Soul Taco. Oh, wait, no, I just flipped into something.
Yeah, that's what I say. That was like 4 years ago. What
Never
the fuck? You said Soul Taco. God bless you.
What do you think about the John Cena promo on SmackDown? Zach, did you see it?
I didn't watch this promo. I will, but I have not.
I'll say this. I want to see these two in the ring at the same time because
Who? Or Reigns and Cena?
yeah.
They were in the ring at the same
No.
time.
I'm talking about promo versus promo.
All right. So can I tell you my favorite part of SmackDown, besides Baron Corbin, was in the middle where
Corbin sucks, by the way.
You
No.
see his new profile picture? It looks great. He's so unhappy.
It is pretty funny.
Sad Corbin he's still got the same stain on his shirt
Right.
for 3 weeks now.
Right.
Sad Corbin is funny. That's a
The guy's good. Like, we ratted on him so long because he was so overexposed and he was in the main events all the time. But, like, the guy's, like, a good performer.
God damn, that's all I ever wanted from Zach. I can't believe he just gave it to me. It's like
What time is it? He's drunk. It's time to cut him off.
It's like when that chick said about Donald Trump Jr. It's like, I've been researching him forever, and he just tweeted it out, and like it didn't matter. It's like, yes, Baron Corbin is very good.
Jesus
When
Christ.
Cena comes out and cuts this promo at the beginning of SmackDown, in the middle of SmackDown, you're going to have this contract signing between Finn Balor and Roman Reigns. They have a table that they're supposed to sit across from. Roman Reigns sits at the head of the table.
He's like, you know what the fuck this is. He was like, Adam Pearce is like, you know what the fuck this is. Move my shit up front. I love it.
Pretty good.
Fucking love it.
And then he was kind of talking shit to Finn Balor. And he was like...
Kind of talking shit to Finn Balor. If you sign this contract, you know how this ends.
Well, he goes, you are worthy to fight me in a match. He's like, you're totally fine.
But...
He's like, John Cena said that you weren't worthy. John Cena said that he was the one that should have done it. So John Cena's saying that you're not good. I'm still not sure that Finn Balor doesn't play somewhere into this.
I think we're done. I really think. Honestly, and this is just my opinion, I think this is...
But my favorite thing about this segment was when Corbin comes in, he attacks Finn Balor, and then he looks at the contract like he's going to sign it.
But I say, you better sign this shit and stop looking around.
Then Cena comes in, Cena signs it, which of course is not how contracts work.
It's illegal.
But Roman Reigns the entire time
didn't move.
Perfect. Just stared at Cena.
Watched it unfold. I was just like, damn. Even before Cena, when Barry Corbin came in and just started to wreak havoc, Roman Reigns never moved.
He was more relaxed than I am right now.
Yeah, I mean, just like, okay, what you gonna do? What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna fight? Y'all gonna fight? Okay, who's gonna sign this shit? And then when John Cena came up, that's when you had the first physical emotion of just like, oh man, shit, here we go.
An incredible segment.
Yeah.
For Roman Reigns.
It's not even, no.
Not for John Cena.
No, we're past that point. Roman Reigns, for me, and I'll just say this right now in August, there are two guys that are going to be on my list of Wrestler of the Year. there's Roman Reigns, and there's Kenny Omega, and everybody else can start moving to the right. That's it. That's it. Roman Reigns moves the fucking needle for WWE
I mean,
every fucking time.
We do this shit every 7 days. And me and Zach have been sucking his dick harder than you. So you think me and Zach are on the outside? Like, what a straw man. You think that you're the only one that thinks Roman Reigns is good?
For somebody like me that's now jumping on the bandwagon as hard as I am jumping on the bandwagon.
Pathetic. What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I will watch this. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing whenever I was like reading about it was I just find it so weird that Cena can just write his name over Finn Balor. So
right.
That's like, okay. Like, if that's the direction they're going, I mean, that's just like that's garbage.
Okay, but that's the sports entertainment part about it. And I'm willing to let that part slide. I don't know anything about contracts.
Even if that's the match, like
well,
if
they
don't do anything with Finn Balor.
They've kind of set it up for the last couple of weeks because Heyman and Adam Pearce have been having words for the last couple of weeks, and then Heyman's like, this doesn't count. And Adam Pearce looked at it and he goes, you know what? From where I'm sitting,
looks good to me.
This looks good to me. So it was kind of like they did kind of set it up. I'm not going to give them too much credit.
No, they've at least given themselves the out. If they wanted to go the triple threat, Bill Vegas special, they gave themselves the out.
I mean, you might as well give somebody amnesia, which they could do, and I would still
they
probably
do it
watch
all
it.
the time. It's WWE. Jesus Christ! How many times have we seen? Go ahead, Two Beer.
They think all their viewers have amnesia,
right?
So it wouldn't be too far.
Exactly, and that's my point. How many times have we seen an angle start, and then all of a sudden, it disappears, and then that person comes back and is like, oh, so-and-so comes back. Jackson Ryder. Okay, perfect example.
Jackson Riker.
I don't give a rat's ass what he is.
You have a podcast. It might be nice to keep up with it.
Wow.
We had...
come over there right now.
Edge and Rollins had a segment where Rollins beat the shit out of Edge. I was a big fan of this. I am looking forward to Rollins Edge.
Good match.
2 thumbs up. They brought up the fact that Seth Rollins could have just stomped Edge out, and he didn't. And now you're back, and this is the full circle.
The ceiling of Rollins versus Edge, as opposed to Edge versus Reigns, Rollins versus Edge is a lot higher. They can have a much better match.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now I won't necessarily say I disagree with that. I think really. And maybe this is Roman Reigns' character is kind of filtering into where I look at him in ring.
You're a mark.
Duh. But I really think that Roman Reigns.
I mean, but you make fun of Zach all the time for being a mark. And
well, he is.
You're talking about.
He's an AEW mark. I'm a Naito mark. It's totally different. We're not talking about AEW right now. We're not talking about NJPW right now.
Okay, Mark. What do you think, Zach?
Oh, I agree. It's a match for lesser stakes, but it's a match that I'm kind of more invested in just because of my proclivities as a wrestling viewer. I'm not necessarily invested in the story, but I'm really stoked to see these two workhorses go to town.
And
that's what's up.
Sasha Banks comes back at the end of SmackDown, and she turns on Bianca Belair. Predictable is not always bad. Can we get a shirt made predictable?
It's not always bad.
It's not always bad.
No, I'm totally agreeing with that. The only thing I didn't like about this whole segment, first and second, Bianca when Sasha came out and made the save. Bianca gave her the little, what? I can't believe you made the save. That should have kind of carried on into the tag match, but ultimately we got where we wanted to go. We'll get Bianca and Sasha Part 2 at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam. That should be a good match, but that little kind of turned it off
Zach,
for me, but
it is what it is. Are you good with Sasha, Bianca too?
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed their first match, and it's been a while, right? I know it's the next big pay-per-view, but it's not like it's the next match. Like WWE, it just seems like it's just back and forth.
Hey, man.
You see the match like 15 times before you actually see the match. But no, this will be good.
Sasha was gone long enough, I feel like.
No,
Yeah.
April was the last time I really saw
It's not
her.
like where they pull Miz off of TV for 2 weeks and then he comes back after 14 days. Like,
Here's a wheelchair.
Miz is back. It's like, nah.
Here's a wheelchair. Go ahead, brother.
It was a good SmackDown. Raw, can't say as much. Here's the shit we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk about McIntyre with the sword and Veer and Shanky. We're not going to talk about Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax and the Shayna Baszler split. We're not going to talk about Ali.
It's not a split.
We're not going to talk about Ali and Mansoor versus T-Bar and Mace. We're not going to talk about Doudrop versus Tamina. We are not going to talk about Damian Priest versus John Morrison. Twice, yeah. They went to a tag team, too, with Morrison and
God,
Sheamus.
I hate WWE sometimes.
We're not going to talk about Omos squashing Riddle clean in 2.5 minutes.
Where's Randy Orton at that point?
Doesn't make any sense. There was no even story there. We're not going to talk about Doudrop attacking Alexa Bliss. I couldn't even read my own writing there. And we're not going to talk about Reginald versus Tozawa. What we might talk about is
Reggie from the Blue.
Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Keith Lee goes over in 11 minutes. This is so fucking weird because it's completely selling out from underneath the Samoa Joe Karrion Kross match. What do you think, Zach?
Oh yeah, it just shows that they don't give two shits about NXT, which is frustrating for someone who does, and also every one of those NXT viewers, for the most part, either watches Raw or has like some kind of semblance or follows it. But a lot of the Raw viewers are not following NXT. So you're essentially you're just undermining your championship for literally no reason, because, Karrion Kross is 1 and 2 on the main roster for no reason.
Yeah, that's another feather in the cap of Zach's prediction that Vince is going to sell. Like, he just doesn't care. He's trying to make as much money on the main roster as possible, no matter what that means. Who knows what the advertisers are saying to him, and that's it. He doesn't care about Karrion Kross because NXT doesn't make any money.
Okay, I'll give you, if you want to go that route, fair enough. I'll just say this.
What route? The good route?
No, the fact that Vince is going to sell WWE, I just don't see that. Vince is way too narcissistic to be all of a sudden, to me admits defeat. Vince doesn't admit defeat. Are you kidding me?
I don't know.
This is something I built for like $5 billion. It doesn't sound like defeat.
Yeah, like if you're getting ready, let's just say he knows he's got 2 years to live, and he's like, okay, I'm going to sell this business for $6 billion, and I'm going to leave it here for my progeny. Then
it wouldn't be
that
left to them. Okay, the way we're talking about it, somebody else.
It wouldn't be enough for him.
For the sake of argument,
1%er here.
If someone else came in and bought WWE, and I'm not talking about Tony Khan because that's the easy, way to go out.
No, it'd be like Disney or Universal.
Right. Okay. There you go.
Or ESPN.
Okay. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, Disney comes in.
Disney ABC.
Okay. Comes in and takes WWE. Okay. The way it is right now, there's not much on the, at least roster-wise, to be like, okay, we're going to come in and take it over, and the current product is that great.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like you've said this twice tonight. You're like, oh, the WWE roster is depleted. No, it's not. It is not depleted.
After John Cena, You got Finn Balor for Roman Reigns, and then what?
Well, Randy Orton. I mean, Randy Orton's a big fucking star, man. Like a big fucking star.
So we're going to just discontinue
Seth
what
Rollins?
we have. Just okay, I'll give you Seth Rollins, but then at that point, you're not looking at the big picture.
You're not looking at the women's division,
Shit.
which is massive.
Do you want me to break that down or no? Please. That's a horse shit fucking division if there's any division. AEW gets a lot of fucking shit for it. This motherfucker ain't that much better.
Zach, is the WWE women's division a
Who's worse? Who's worse? AEW or WWE's women's division? There you go.
AEW? It's not even close. What the fuck are you talking about?
WWE has the bigger stars because, I mean, Becky's on her way back, and she's a legit superstar.
They also have Io Shirai. They also have Asuka. Like,
God,
what are you
women
talking
they don't
about?
use. Women they don't use.
Not
at
the
least,
point.
At least I can go over to
Not the point.
YouTube.
That's not the point.
Wow. Okay.
You think AEW's women's roster is better than WWE's?
I think they use them a little better.
That's not the question. It's like if they
okay.
decided,
So it's just straight up roster versus roster. Who's better?
You brought it up. The roster versus roster.
Who's better?
Yeah, who's got the better roster?
WWE.
Wow.
He's heating up.
No, it's if you want to go straight up versus straight up, it's WWE. Who books them better?
Totally different question. You said that WWE wasn't going to have any stars left once X, Y, and Z left. And I said,
No,
well,
Vince doesn't want to make stars.
They still have Bianca Belair. They still have Sasha Banks. They still have Becky
Bianca
Lynch.
Belair is not a star. Don't start. They took her down to fucking Miami, and that crowd basically did nothing.
Bianca Belair just got 1 million fucking likes on Instagram because she was hanging out with Megan Thee Stallion. Are you telling me?
What does that? Is that going to make
Do you
a
know
difference?
who Megan Thee Stallion
Yeah,
is?
I do. Actually, I do.
Grandpa?
Yeah,
It's
actually,
not
I
Nina
do.
Turner.
Actually,
It's
I
not
do.
Nina Simone.
Actually, I do. Here's the problem with all that. Is that going to
And
make her
Aretha Franklin.
immune? Is that going to make her immune when it comes time to budget cuts?
I don't know.
No, it's not. It
I
really
don't know.
isn't. It really isn't. And that's my whole
But
point.
we're not-
No, that's
But
my
we're
whole
not doing,
point.
We're not
That's
doing
my whole point.
hypothetical budget cuts here,
No,
though, dude.
get the fuck
We're
out
not
of here.
doing hypothetical
They just
budget
cut
cuts.
Bray Wyatt. They cut Bray Wyatt.
That's
2
not-
years ago, that motherfucker was hot
That's
as
not
grease
what
lightning.
I asked. I said they have tons of stars.
They don't have tons of stars. They
They
really don't.
They give so much time to women stars on Raw and SmackDown.
Outside of who? Charlotte, Becky who ain't even here anymore. Charlotte, Nikki, Alexa,
Zelina Vega.
okay.
Carmella.
Okay. So you're
Shayna
making my
Baszler,
point. You're making
Nia
my
Jax,
point. You're making my fucking point.
Dana Brooke.
This motherfucking women's
Liv
division
Morgan.
is a Instagram division alone. They look hot, but at the end of the day, you can't name any more than the 4 or 5.
I just named 9. I just named 9.
legitimate wrestlers in this division.
I just named 9.
Legitimate wrestlers in this division.
I didn't even bring up Asuka or Io Shirai. That's 11.
Legitimate wrestlers in this division. We're going to say Dana Brooke is legitimate?
No, but she gets a lot of TV time.
Okay, because she's hot. This is WWE.
I'm not saying whether or not they can go. I'm saying whether or not they're stars.
Dana Brooke is not a star.
Listen, this is how this conversation started. You wanted to say that AEW was snatching up all the stars and there were no stars left on WWE. All I was saying...
Slowly but
Hold
surely,
on.
they will be gone.
Hold on. I named a bunch. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, okay, please. Okay, stop,
And then I got
stop.
into the women, and I said boom, boom, boom,
No,
boom.
no. The women, there's 4. Because it's the 4 horsewomen and then Asuka. Anybody
Alexa
else?
Bliss doesn't count? Io
No,
Shirai doesn't
hell
count?
no, hell
Rhea,
no,
Rhea
hell
Ripley?
no, hell no. They fucked them all up.
Rhea
And
Ripley
they
doesn't
just
count.
started to make her back as a fucking babyface. They fucked her up as the heel. They made her and Charlotte both heels. How do you fuck that up? How do you fuck that up?
That's insane. You're insane.
No, I'm perfectly right.
That's insane.
Zach, be the voice of reason on the fucking Rhea Ripley Charlotte fucking episode. How is fucking Rhea Ripley going to be a heel versus Charlotte, who Charlotte has been the heel the whole fucking time? She did her dirty at WrestleMania. She got the WrestleMania win, and now you bring Rhea Ripley back, and she's the heel. Make that make sense.
I don't like what they've done with Rhea Ripley. Like, without getting into the minutia of it, like, I don't like what they've done with Rhea Ripley.
Jason just threw his headphones down and looked at me like that was the biggest, like he had just owned me, like he had just dunked on me. He was like, Zach agrees with me. I'm out. I'm taking a piss.
I heard the headphones hit the floor.
Oh, he's so mad, dude. God.
This sounded like the last 5 minutes of the podcast were just 10th and Olive.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was. It was just me and Jason yelling at each other on a sidewalk at 2:00 in the morning as some dude walks by. He's like, can I get a smoke? And me and Jason both offer him one. We're like, yeah, take one of each, whatever. Get the fuck out of here, you crazy kid. Go ahead and get a little bit. The other thing I was going to talk about is that it's going to be a triple threat match between Charlotte Flair, Nikki ASH, and Rhea Ripley at SummerSlam. Are you guys okay with this? Jason, please don't yell at me. Don't yell at me.
It's so silly.
I don't care. I honestly, I don't care anymore. I don't. I'm more invested in Bianca and Sasha at this point, even though it's like 2 or 3 weeks.
Zach. I didn't say shit to you. I asked Zach.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
Jesus
Christ. My apartment.
Act like it's your house.
Yeah, apologize for me, talking on the podcast. Shit on me, why don't you?
This is good. This is good.
Man.
He's finally shut up. Let's talk, Zach.
The only thing about it is it's unfortunate for Nikki because she gets this run as a champion, but she's like a total joke champion.
Well, the crowd was behind her Monday, I guess. Kind of.
Because she's likable and people like her, but it's just like they're not. Their positions, Rhea and Charlotte, are the ones fighting over the belt. It's not like it's Nikki fighting over her own belt, even.
It was I would say that it was a bad Money in the Bank move to put the Money in the Bank on Nikki ASH. They have made lots of bad Money in the Bank moves.
Is it
lately.
that bad? She won the title.
It's bad with this character, I guess.
The only reason I think it's bad is because Becky Lynch is subsequently on deck. We're waiting for Becky to come back. There's bigger things than Nikki ASH on deck. No disrespect to her. I love the fact that she put the character out there and they put the title on her, but bigger things than Nikki.
This is banned from ringside.
Okay, there's one more question that I just have to ask before we're done tonight. Do you see Big E winning the belt with Money in the Bank? And if you do you see him taking it off of Roman Reigns?
Okay, that makes that a lot question easier. Go ahead, Two Beer.
Oh, man. I don't see him taking off Roman Reigns, that's for sure.
Do you see him taking it off of John Cena?
I don't know, man. I like that they gave him that push. Since they did the women's the next night, I just kind of hope it sits on the back burner and it kind of keeps him relevant for a good while.
I can't imagine Big E not cashing in or cashing in unsuccessfully. I should say
that's the better word.
That's what I can't see.
Yeah.
The only reason he would cash unsuccessfully if he cashes it in on Roman, because I don't think. Right now, as the current roster stands, there's nobody on either roster, Raw or SmackDown, that I would be like, okay, that's the guy that's going to be Roman Reigns. Right now, there's nobody. Big E feels like this is Bobby Lashley. I can honestly see Lashley beating Goldberg or somebody Goldberg-esque, and then Big E comes in and cashes in. That makes more realistic sense.
Like I said a couple weeks ago, apparently Big E's favorite wrestler was Goldberg.
John Cena has a little stroke, so if we're going to throw out the fact that Ric Flair, who got released, god damn, we didn't even talk about that. Ric Flair gets released from WWE.
R.I.P. Ric Flair.
See, you ain't shit. And that's a booking issue. I think this could be a booking issue too. So we'll just see what happens. But like I said, to me, Big E feels like this is Bobby Lashley is the guy that he goes over versus Roman Reigns. Because like I said, to me, the biggest issue was, can they go for either championship? Once Big E won, that's where I think you can put it against Lashley and make it work.
Two Beer, what do you think?
I mean, that makes sense. I just really want him to cash in successfully, selfishly, but also for Big E, because he seems like
I don't want anybody beating Roman Reigns right now, though.
But yes, also I don't want that. Yeah,
that's what this is. There's nobody on this roster right now
that you want to beat him. You know what? You're right. I don't want anybody to take it off him either.
No, I want to see this shit roll.
There's a draft, right? They're going to switch it up. Like,
and they're going, and that's perfect. Now you're getting fresh matchups. Finn Balor is going to be probably the one matchup before the draft starts, and then I want to
see him carry the belt for 800 days. And then who was the guy?
What did I say? This might be an Okada type run.
Who was the guy that came in and fucked up Brock Lesnar on the first SmackDown? What was that guy's name? MMA guy?
Cain Velasquez.
Then I want to see Cain Velasquez come in and just take out Roman Reigns with like a couple of weak punches and maybe like just kind of like bends his neck a little bit and just Roman Reigns taps out. That would be awesome after 800 days.
You know, the sad part about it is I can easily see that happening. Just like, what the fuck?
Vince is like, I just paid Cain Velasquez $40 million. Right? He's got to go over.
You know, Roman Reigns' contract ends and Cain Velasquez squashes him in 6 minutes and becomes the WWE champion.
Ooh, that sounds perfect.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Hey, we got
jumping through the window.
We got some birthdays this week. Dino Bravo.
No, he's dead. That's dark side of the ring. He died. The mob killed his ass.
72. Tony Nese is 37. Sable, Mrs. Brock Lesnar,
alive,
is 54. Yeah, I know. Shayna Baszler.
Definitely alive, just not very well and creative.
I know if she was dead, her eyebrows would probably grow out more full. She's 41. Zach Gibson is 31. Silas Young. I love Silas Young.
I love Silas Young, yeah.
Is he still in Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
He's 41. Alexa Bliss is 30. Tugboat / Typhoon.
I'm not even going to try this. I'm going to go with alive.
65. Doesn't sound right. Savio Vega is 57. Wade Barrett.
Great on NXT.
Bad News Barrett is 41. We don't talk about him enough. He's great. And Hulk Hogan is 68.
On my Ring of Honor, on my Hall of Fame, nigga ain't shit. Yeah, I said nigga ain't shit.
Hey, everybody, we know tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to ours. For Bo Geisman.
Vices in the House, check.
For Bill's Beard Company.
Support our niece, check.
For Two Beer Zach Pullman. For Jason Cornelius Bell.
Check.
Black Lives Matter.
Check.
Support your local restaurants.
Check.
Support your local weed dealers because they
double
will
check
you up.
Especially right now, motherfuckers trying to push some shit.
Bill Vagey and everybody, never forget who the heel.
Hey, Two Beer.